bring the medalists for the 1,500 meters on the stage. The bronze medalist in a personal best time of 3:27.80 from the United States, Yared Nuguse. The silver medalist in a new national record of 3:27.79, upgrading his bronze medal from Tokyo to a silver from Great Britain, Josh Kerr. And the gold medalist in an Olympic record of 3:27.65. He was sixth in Tokyo in 2020, and he puts two Americans on the podium for the 1,500 meters for the first time since 1912 from the United States, Cole Hocker. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring the mic to you. Let's start right here in the middle.
Thank you. This is a question for Cole and Yared. A lot of the narrative before this competition has been about Jakob versus Josh. How you thought about that going in, and how does it feel that you've sort of stolen the show?
I think the headlines were about them, rightfully so. I mean, it's Olympic champion and world champion, and everyone knows the caliber athletes they are, and the headlines made sense. And speaking personally, it's, you know, it can be nice to, you know, fly under the radar as much as I can and in the Olympics. And so I think most people knew that were in the race knew that I was a competitor, and same with Yared. But yeah, it was another it was another thing not to have all that noise. So I feel like I took advantage of it.
And yeah, I'd pretty much agree for the most part. I think you know, there's a lot of pressure already going into just it being the Olympics, but you know, to have a lot more just on those two just kind of helps just mentally. Like, there's not a ton of expectations for me to perform. I know I still think both me and Cole thought like we could go win this race, and like no matter what was being said, that, you know, you're gonna go for it because it's the Olympics and why not. But you know, still I think that belief is the most important thing, to be able to like come away with, you know, 1 and 3 like we did.
Right here. Right. Nope. Nope.
Hi. Okay. Hi, Denise, the Players Tribune. Cole, can you just take me through what's going through your mind in that last 100, especially through those last 30, 40 meters? I feel like we could see you find all that was left.
Yeah, I'm definitely still searching for the words to describe that moment, but you know, every part of me knew that this was the Olympic final, and if that makes sense, I felt the moment, I felt the magnitude of it, and it was incredible, and just I knew what I had left, and I was like, I kind of knew, oh, I'm gonna get a medal, like I'm gonna be an Olympic medalist. Let's get silver, let's get gold, and with 20 meters to go, I feel like I knew I had gold, and just insane. I feel like I've lived that scenario a lot of times, and in real life, and racing people and trying to kick people down, and this time it just, you know, happened to be the Olympic final, which I'm still trying to figure out how to comprehend that.
Jonathan, then Sean. So first in the back and then right in front of him.
Jonathan Gold here. Question for Cole. You've become famous for that last 100 meters of yours. I'm wondering, when was the first time you remember having a gear shift and, you know, winning a race with a big last 100? And also, how confident were you that in a 3:27 race it would still be there for you tonight if you needed it?
Yeah, I think I've always kind of, you know, had a good finish most of my running career, you know, back to grade school. But obviously, like the Olympic trials and you know, 2021 was the first time I, you know, got to test the finishing speed against, you know, professional athletes, and it's just been, you know, step by step since then. And yeah, 3:27 race is a different ball game, and I hadn't proved that physically yet. I feel like I had been doing the workouts to back that up, and I knew I was stronger than I've ever been. Where, you know, that's part of the reason I pushed myself and worked to run, you know, sub 13-minute 5K this year and build that strength like I've never built before, and, you know, just navigate that and stay healthy through everything. And it takes a lot of things, you know, to kind of culminate. And yeah, I feel like I just took full advantage of everything. And, you know, I wasn't thinking with 150 to go that I'm going to run a fast time. I was thinking I'm going to win, and that's kind of what it came down to.
Sean, right there.
Sean Ingle, The Guardian. Congratulations, Cole. Looking at your splits, you ran 13.3, 13.3 and 13.0 over the last 300. That's, my maths is correct, 39.6 for the last 300 off a hard race. How do you prepare for that? Well, there's any training sessions, and did you expect the race to pan out as it did, with Jakob pretty much taking off after 100 meters or so?
Yeah, I think, you know, I train a lot of change of gear stuff in practice, but, you know, where we're at in the 1500, you just have to build fitness, you know, above all. And again, I feel like I did that the best I ever have, obviously, this year. And yeah, I knew the caliber of guys I was racing, and I knew it was going to take a special day, and I'm just, you know, grateful and, you know, proud of like the training I've done to prepare for this. And that's kind of, you know, been what this year of training has been. It's like, yes, I'm at the global level, but I'm not quite, you know, able to run sub 330 comfortably. And now I've finally, you know, proven that, you know, physically.
Right here, Sarah. Okay, microphone.
Hi, Sarah Lorch Butler with Runner's World. Cole, I'm just wondering if you can say what you admire about Yared, and Yared, if you could just say what you admire about Cole.
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I think kind of a cop-out answer after today, but I think the kick is like something I've really admired about him. I feel like I kind of grew up thinking like myself that, like, you know, I had like an amazing, awesome kick, but it's kind of nice to have that like rivaled and challenged in a little bit of a way, because, you know, if you're like, you don't want to be like the best forever, and it's just like, you know. But I think, you know, he pushes me to be ready for it, be like knowing that he's gonna bring it, and that I got to bring like everything even more. So yeah.
Yeah, I in the same vein of that, is just such a competitor, and I feel like I've looked at Yared since college, just being a guy that can strength run a race, and that's kind of an attribute that I wanted. And I feel like it's just so special to have two Americans that are pushing each other to, like, he's obviously pushed me to a new level of stuff that, you know, I never thought I was capable of doing. And you know, when he does something, I go to myself and I'm like, I got to do that. And so, you know, it's a good back and forth, I guess.
Josh, the rivalry between you and Jakob was brought up early on, and Cole talked about how maybe not being a part of that was helpful for him. How did that impact you, and what were you thinking about during your race today?
It's been a fun year, I think, of a lot of new things for me, and I'm sure, you know, Cole's going to have a fun year next year with lots of different pressures and different steps along the way of being the champion. And you know, that was part of it, but, you know, I that's what I live for. I love that kind of pressure. You know, when the pressure's on, I feel like I've been able to perform consistently. You know, being able to upgrade my medal today was, you know, bittersweet for me, but, you know, I got beaten by the better man on the day, and, you know, I've got to walk away from this championship with my head held high, because, you know, that was, you know, a heck of a race, and that's what we had promised. And you know, there's always going to be storylines that will come from championship races, but I think we pretty clearly showed that we were the best three on the day today.
Right here.
A question for Josh. Josh, was there ever a point just when you moved clear with maybe about 30 meters to go that you thought you had it? And how much are you sort of have you started replaying the race in your mind, and would you do anything differently?
I mean, I've been in the sport long enough to know that you don't win it until you cross the finish line and see your name on the board. And I could feel there was a good amount of people still left, which is crazy to say at 3:27 pace. But I could feel it, and I think, you know, at that speed, we're not really able to look around and kind of see what's going on. So I was just focused on the line, and I was trying to get there as quickly as I could, and I was just trying to, you know, pump the knees and move the arms, and yeah, when Cole came up next to me, he came with enough momentum where I was really just trying to hold it together as well as possible through the line, and I was able to grab that silver. So yeah, it's, you know, it was such a fast race. I think it was, I don't know about you guys, but it was very loud. So it was, you know, very much just focusing on what we can do to, you know, weather the storm in the first 800 and see what we had left in that last 600. And I'm excited to watch it back. Obviously, I'm not going to walk away from the championships, you know, satisfied with the medal. I don't think anyone can unless it's gold. But it's such a great honor to get another Olympic medal for me, and it's a body of work for all of us.
Right here.
Hi, Josh. Jakob went out at a pace that was actually quicker than El Guerrouji's world record pace. Clearly, he decided that that was the only way after the last two World Championships that he was going to do it. And he has said tonight that he even thinks he miscalculated. He was probably 2 seconds quicker than he wanted to be after 400. Do you think it was that fear of what you and Jake had done to him in the previous two championships that basically, you know, he just went too hard tonight and ultimately paid for that?
Yeah, if you're going out sub world record pace without a pacemaker, I think is, you know, it's a bold strategy. Definitely, I think all of us kind of thought it was going to be quick, but you know, the crowd was electric, and so it's difficult to internalize pace well, and when, you know, the track's fast, the atmosphere is crazy. It's an Olympic Games final, and so it's kind of making sure you can keep the heart rate low enough to hit your splits. And you know, obviously he went out a little bit too hard. You could kind of see in the last 200 he was looking around, kind of seeing if we were still there, and we were. But you know, it's a brave strategy, and you know, obviously didn't work out today, but you know, it made for one heck of a race.
We've got time for two more. Let's go right here.
This question's for Yared. Was curious, just your experience in Tokyo, how much that unfortunate injury motivated you to make it back here, and if that medal is any sweeter today, knowing what happened 3 years ago.
Yeah. First, it's pronounced Yared. Sorry, but also, yeah, I think, you know, in Tokyo I was a lot younger and also just like a lot more inexperienced, but I was still so excited to like go out and, you know, give it my best shot. But you know, getting that taken away from me like really stung for a long time, and I think it was definitely in the back of my mind coming into this Olympics, just like, not that I need to prove myself, but that like I know that I am strong enough to really be up there with the best guys and going for the win. And so, you know, to come from an Olympics where I probably didn't even know if I'd make the final versus like, you know, coming here and getting bronze is such a huge moment of redemption for me, and just, I don't know, a really, really good time.
Last question right here.
So, question for all. Jakob is not on the podium. That doesn't happen very often. How surprised are you about that?
Oh, he said.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's surprising, but I think it just shows the state of the 1500 right now, and globally, it's like 326 guy. You have to execute on the day, and you know, obviously such a great athlete, but yeah, you have to bring your A game with this kind of field that's assembled now very often, it seems like.
Yeah, I'd say I was also quite surprised. I think I had a few like ideas of how it could pan out in my head, and I don't think this was one of them, but still quite happy with how it turned out, obviously getting bronze. But yeah, no, Jakob is still just like, you know, it takes a lot of guts to go out and like lead a whole race like that. And you know, I raced similarly like at the Olympic trials, and it still didn't work out for me, but you know, you kind of know that going in that it's a big risk, but it's a risk you're willing to take because you know that that's going to work out. Well, it's probably going to be working out best for you.
Yeah, I would say I was less surprised. Personally, I think it's a hard way to run a 1500, and you've got 11 of the best other guys kind of following in your footsteps a little bit, and it's risky. He's obviously ran very well in 21 to get the gold medal, but since then it's kind of not really worked as well. And he did it again tonight, and you have a slew of athletes that have trained in a way that allows us to weather that storm early and close pretty hard. So I don't particularly make up a medal podium beforehand. I'm just focusing on executing. But yeah, I think very deserving medalists are sitting up here right now, and you can obviously see with the times that were run that just the best three on the day.
Yared Nuguse, Josh Kerr, Cole Hocker just ran the fastest 1,500 meters in Olympic history. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
We may now stop the stream. And our next press conference